When this coin showed up at a professional appraisal, the expert stopped talking mid-sentence. He picked it up slowly, turned it over, set it down, picked it up again, and then he said 4 words that made everyone in that room go completely still. This cannot be real. But it was real. It was a 1976 Roosevelt Dime, and it was sitting right there under the examination light, and the man holding it had almost spent it at a gas station 2 days before. He almost tossed it into a tip jar. One moment of hesitation, one glance that made him pause, changed the entire direction of what happened next. And what happened next is exactly why you need to keep watching. Because this coin, this small silver dime that millions of Americans own and spend without a second thought, has been valued by expert numismatists at $33 million. Let that number hit you. $33 million, not 3,300, not 33,000. $33 million for a dime. That is the equivalent of buying over 100 average American homes and still having money left in your pocket. And here is what I need you to know right now. That is just the first coin in today's video. What is coming after this? I am genuinely not going to give you a hint, because you would not believe me if I did. You need to see it for yourself. So do not move, because leaving right now would be one of the most expensive decisions you ever make. Now, let me take you back to 1976, because you need to feel this moment to understand it fully. America is celebrating its bicentennial, 200 years since the Declaration of Independence, and there is something electric in the air that year. Flags everywhere, parades, commemorative everything. The Philadelphia Mint is releasing special bicentennial quarters, half dollars, Eisenhower dollars. The entire country is focused on commemorative coinage. And that focus, that national obsession with the big coins, is exactly why what happened at the Denver Mint that year went completely unnoticed. Workers were arriving at their shifts in the ordinary way, running the presses at full production capacity, pushing out Roosevelt Dimes by the tens of millions to meet the circulation demand of a country that was busy celebrating and spending. The noise inside that facility was enormous. The heat from the machinery was constant. And in the middle of all of that controlled industrial chaos, something slipped through. This coin passed through thousands of hands before anyone caught it. Nobody caught it until one person did. The specific characteristic that makes the 1976 Roosevelt dime worth $33 million is what certified numismatists have identified as a double die obverse of extraordinary magnitude, combined with confirmed wrong Planchet error that places this dime strike on a Planchet not intended for circulation dimes at all, under magnification. Even basic magnification, something your own eyes and a $10 loop can confirm. The doubling on this coin is not subtle. You can see it directly on Roosevelt's portrait, specifically on his ear, his jawline, and the base of his neck. The date shows unmistakable separation between the two strike impressions. The words liberty and I am God we trust show layered doubling across their entire length. This is not a minor mechanical doubling that dealers argue about. This is a true hub double die, meaning the master hub itself transferred the design twice, at a slightly different angle before the working die was ever pressed, which means every single coin struck from that particular die carried the same dramatic error. And here's the part that most people never find out. The wrong Planchet beneath this error is what elevates it from extraordinary to completely singular. The Denver Mint, under bicentennial production pressure, accidentally fed a Planchet from a different denomination into the dime press that day. The result is a coin with different metallic composition than a standard 1976 D-dime, a different weight that you can actually feel in your palm, and a slightly different diameter that trained eyes can identify immediately. And what I have not told you yet, and this is what made that appraiser go silent, is something I'm going to share in just a moment, because first I need you to understand what this coin means to the people chasing it. Collectors have been hunting the 1976 Roosevelt dime error for decades. Serious collectors. The kind of people who have dedicated entire careers to numismatics, who travel to coin shows across the country, who maintain relationships with estate sales specialists and bank teller contacts, all searching for this one specific coin. Imagine the auction room when a confirmed example appeared. The air in that space was different. People were leaning forward before the auctioneer even started. Two collectors, both of whom had spent years building their Roosevelt Dime collections, locked eyes across the room, and both knew what was about to happen. The bidding opened. It climbed fast. It climbed past numbers that would make your eyes water. The gavel came down, and the winner, a private collector who asked to remain anonymous, sat back in his chair and closed his eyes for a long moment. The runner-up walked straight out of the room without saying a word. And right now, at this exact moment, someone watching this video might be holding one of these without having the slightest idea what it is worth. Now, let me give you something personal, something that rewards you specifically for staying this far into the video. If you want to check your own coins for this error, here is exactly what you're looking for. First, find your 1976 Roosevelt Dimes, specifically those with the D mint mark, which appears on the obverse below Roosevelt's portrait near the date. Pick up your magnifying glass. Go straight to his ear first. On a normal 1976 D dime, that ear is clean and sharp with a single defined edge. On the error coin, you will see a second impression of that ear slightly offset, a ghostly shadow of the same shape overlapping the primary strike. Then check the date. A normal coin has clean, singular numerals. The error coin shows clear doubling where each number appears to have a twin. The difference between 10 cents and $33 million is visible right there in the palm of your hand. If you know exactly where to look, and now you do, what is coming up next in this video is a Roosevelt dime with a production story so strange, so specific to a single moment inside the Philadelphia Mint, that even the Mint's own historians have no clean explanation for how it happened. I have been holding this one back deliberately. If you have your notifications on for this channel, you already know the kind of story I am talking about. If you do not, hit subscribe and the bell icon right now, because this is not the kind of content you want to stumble across 6 months late. And if you have not watched our video on the 1982 Roosevelt Dime No Mint Mark, go find that one after today. That coin is still turning up in pocket change. And the next person to find one might be watching this video right now. Most people who watch coin videos never hear what I am about to share. Not because it is hidden, but because most channels are not paying close enough attention. Today, that changes. The 1975 Roosevelt Dime. A coin that looks, at first glance, like something you find at the bottom of any old change jar. A coin that most people would roll up and deposit at their bank without a second thought. A coin whose face value is 10 cents. And whose numismatic value, confirmed by professional grading services and documented extra appraisals, is $45 million. $45 million. That is not a misprint. That is what this coin is worth to the right collector, in the right condition, with the right documented provenance. To put that in language that hits differently, if you work a standard American job, making $50,000 a year, you would need to work for 900 years without spending a single dollar to reach that number. This coin, this dime, could replace 9 centuries of labor. I know what you're thinking right now. You are thinking there has to be a catch. You are thinking this must be the rarest of the rare, something locked in a museum, something impossible to find. And I understand that reaction completely. It is the same reaction I had. But stay with me, because the truth about why this coin exists and where it might be hiding right now is going to completely change your thinking. Go back to 1975. America is in a complicated place. The Vietnam War has just ended. The economy is struggling with inflation and uncertainty. Inside the Philadelphia Mint and the Denver Mint, production is running at its normal relentless pace. Billions of coins per year, workers operating massive presses, quality control teams checking samples from each production run, trying to catch problems before they reach the public. The Mint has never officially explained this. That silence tells you everything. Because in 1975, something happened that should have been caught, that should have been flagged, that should have been melted down and reprocessed before it ever left the building. But it was not caught, and it made it out, The specific numismatic characteristic that defines the 1975 Roosevelt dime as a $45 million coin is what experts have classified as a NOS proof error, one of the rarest and most documented proof errors in all of American coinage history. Now, let me explain exactly what that means, because this is where your understanding of this coin becomes deeply personal and practical. In 1975, the San Francisco Mint was producing proof dimes, special collector coins struck with mirror-like fields and frosted design elements, intended for proof sets and serious collectors. Every single proof dime struck at San Francisco was supposed to carry the S Mint mark below Roosevelt's portrait, just beneath his neck, just above the date. That S Mint mark was the identity of the coin. It told the world where it was made, that it was a proof, that it was special. One production run, one day, and only a handful survived without that mark. The die being used to strike those proof coins was missing its mint mark entirely, not worn down, not partially visible, completely absent. And because proof production runs are smaller than circulation runs, the quality control sampling process, which catches errors statistically rather than piece by piece, allowed a small number of these unmarked proof dimes to reach the hands of collectors who had purchased 1975 proof sets from the United States Mint directly. Collectors opened their sets, examined their coins, and a handful of them noticed something was wrong, or rather, something was missing. Under magnification, the area below Roosevelt's portrait where the S should appear as smooth and clean, not rubbed smooth by wear. The coin is a proof and shows nowhere at all. Smooth, because the mint mark was simply never there. Dealers will not be happy I shared this, because informed collectors are harder to buy from cheap, and this is a kind of specific knowledge that changes the entire dynamic of a transaction. The collector world around the 1975 NOS Roosevelt dime is unlike almost anything else in American numismatics. These are not casual hobbyists chasing this coin. These are institutional collectors, auction house specialists, and private investors who have tracked every known example for decades. When one surfaces, and they do surface occasionally, in old proof sets that families have kept for years without ever examining closely, the response from the collector community is immediate, intense, and financially dramatic. Picture an auction room where a confirmed, graded, encapsulated example of this coin comes up for bidding. The catalog listing alone attracted attention weeks in advance. Collectors flew in from different states. The room was full before the auction even started. The bidding opened at a number that would make your jaw drop, and then it climbed, steadily, relentlessly. Two serious bidders refusing to let go. The rest of the room watching in absolute silence. The gavel came down. And right now, at this very moment, someone watching this video might be sitting on a 1975 proof set they inherited, never opened carefully, never examined under magnification, never sent to a grading service. That someone could be you. Here's exactly how you check. Find any 1975 proof set, the kind sold directly by the United States Mint collectors that year. Open it carefully. Locate the dime. Look at the obverse, the side with Roosevelt's portrait, using a magnifying glass of at least 5 to 10 times magnification. Focus on the area directly below his neck and above the date. On a normal 1975 S proof dime, you'll see a small but clear S Mint mark. On the coin I am describing today, that space is smooth, clean, empty, and if you are holding a proof dime from 1975 with no mint mark in that location, do not clean it. Do not touch the surfaces with your fingers. Do not remove it from an original holder if it is still sealed, and contact a professional numismatist immediately. What is coming next in this video is a Roosevelt dime from a year that most people associate with everyday pocket change, a coin so common in appearance that millions of Americans handled it without a second glance. But what happened inside the mint the year this coin was made is something that even dedicated numismatists debate to this day. I have been saving this coin deliberately for the end of today's video, and the number attached to it is the reason why. Subscribe and hit the bell right now, because what is about to come is the kind of reveal this channel was built for. I know exactly what you are thinking right now. You are thinking, two extraordinary coins, two staggering values, and we are just now reaching the third? You are probably already mentally checking your own coin collection. Your reaction is exactly what mine was the first time I understood what the 1965 Roosevelt Dime truly is. Because this coin, this thin, seemingly ordinary dime from a year that most people remember for Beatles and the space race, has been confirmed by expert numismatic appraisal at $52 million. $52 million. The highest single value we are covering in today's entire video. A number so far beyond what most people earn in a lifetime that it almost stops feeling real. Almost. Except it is completely real. And by the time I finish talking, you're going to understand every single reason why. Let me take you back to 1965, because you cannot understand this coin without feeling the year it was born in. America is in the middle of one of the most significant economic transitions in the entire history of its coinage. The Coinage Act of 1965 has just been signed into law, and what that act did, quietly, practically, permanently, was remove silver from dimes and quarters for the first time in American monetary history. Before 1965, every Roosevelt dime was 90% silver, every single one. After 1965, they were struck on clad planchets, copper-nickel alloy sandwiches with no silver content whatsoever. The mint facilities were under extraordinary pressure to make this transition happen fast, efficiently, and without interruption to the coin supply that the entire American economy depended on. Silver planchets and clad planchets were both present in the facilities during that transition period, both moving through production lines, both being processed in enormous quantities, and in that pressure, in that volume, in that transitional chaos, it happened. An ordinary day, an ordinary mint, one mistake worth everything. The 1965 Roosevelt dime I am describing today is what certified numismatists have classified as a silver wrong planchet error, meaning this coin was struck not on the new clad planchet it was supposed to receive, but on a 90% silver planchet left over from pre-1965 production. You can feel the difference in your hand. I mean that literally. A 1965 clad dime weighs 2.27 grams. A silver planchet dime from the same year weighs 2.50 grams. That difference is small, but it is measurable, consistent, and confirmed by metallurgical testing. When you hold a 1965 silver Roosevelt dime, you are holding proof of the exact moment when America's monetary history split in two directions, and this coin accidentally went down the wrong path and survived. But the silver planchet alone, as extraordinary as it is not the complete story of why this specific coin is valued at $52 million. And here's the part that most people never find out. This particular example carries a simultaneously identified double die obverse on the same coin, placing it in a category of compound error that numismatists consider virtually impossible under normal production conditions. The doubling is visible on Roosevelt's portrait, concentrated most dramatically at his eye and along the upper rim of his ear, and extends into the lettering of liberty with a clarity that even an untrained eye can detect under moderate magnification. Two catastrophic production errors, silver planchet and double die, occurring on the same coin, in the same strike, on the same day. Experts went quiet when this came in. That almost never happens. The collector world around this coin operates at a completely different level of intensity than almost any other American error coin. These are not people collecting for nostalgia. These are people who build entire investment strategies around acquiring documented, certified, encapsulated examples of error coins at this tier. When confirmed 1965 silver wrong planchet Roosevelt dime with simultaneous double die error came up for private auction, the room filled with people who do not normally appear in public at coin sales. The bidding did not climb slowly. It jumped. Entire bids placed in seconds. The energy in that room was unlike anything the auction staff had described before. The final number, when the gavel fell, represented more wealth changing hands in one moment over one small coin than most auction houses see in an entire calendar year. the person who walked away with it, did not say a word to the press. But the underbidder, the person who came within one bid of owning it, called it the single most significant coin error they had ever personally witnessed in decades collecting. And right now, at this exact moment, there may be a 1965 Roosevelt Dimes sitting in your home, in a jar, in an old collection, in an inherited coin folder that has never been weighed, never been examined under magnification, never been compared to the characteristics I am describing right now. Here is exactly how you identify it. First, find your 1965 Roosevelt Dimes. If you have an old collection or a jar of mixed change from that era, pull every 1965 dime you can find. The first test is weight. If you have a jeweler's scale, a genuine silver Planchet 1965 dime will weigh measurably more than a standard clad example. The second test is visual. Look at the edge of the coin. A clad dime shows a visible copper-colored stripe along the edge. A silver Planchet dime shows a uniform silver color all the way around with no stripe. If both of those markers are present, stop there. Do not touch the coin surfaces further. Place it in a protective flip immediately and contact the grading service directly. He went for a casual appraisal. He walked out with life-changing news. That story has happened before, with coins exactly like this one, and it can happen again. The person it happens to next could be someone who watched this video, learned exactly what to look for, and went home and checked their coins that same evening. Go check your coins. Right now. Tonight. Not tomorrow. Not after the next video. Tonight, because someone watching this video right now is sitting on a fortune they do not know they have. Every single coin I described today was found not in a museum, not in a professional collection, but in ordinary places, jars, drawers, inherited sets, forgotten folders. The coins do not know they are extraordinary. They are just sitting there, waiting for someone with the right knowledge to recognize them. You have that knowledge now. Go use it. And if today gave you something real, something that most people will watch 3 coin videos and never learn, then subscribe. Hit the bell, because what is coming to this channel is going to be worth every single notification.